Hello, welcome back. Today I have another ink sample review for you. This one is by Diamine and it's called Polar Glow. So we're going to just shake this up and do the swatch card real quick. If there are any inks that you would like to see me review, don't forget to leave a comment with what you'd like to see me review, and if I have it or if I can get it, then we will do a review video. Just trying to fill this in. This is a really pretty blue so far. Put down quite a bit of ink there. Okay, I'm going to try to get it to pool on one side a little bit. There we go. I'll fill that in all the way. Okay. That is a really pretty shade of blue. Looks really dark so far, but that's just on the swatch. We'll see how it looks with the writing as well. And we'll test it on some different papers. There we go. And then we just need to let this dry. It looks like there might be a sheen on this one just based on how it looks on the bottle, the rim of the bottle, and also set that aside. If you can see it on the glass pen here, it looks like there might be a little bit of a sheen. Okay, so let me grab the papers. We're going to start with some copy paper, and I like to test this on cheap copy paper just because maybe that's all you have to work with, and you'll want to see how the ink is going to perform. So let's give that a shot and see how this looks. So this is a really deep blue, very, very pigmented. Yeah, this is a very dark blue. So this would be something maybe that would be work safe just because of the shade of blue. There's a tiny bit of feathering. So if that's a concern, you may not want to use this on copy paper. We're going to also test this on HP32. HP32 is also copy paper, but it has this really nice coating on it that makes it smooth, and the ink seems to pool on it a little bit better. So you get to see the different effects of the ink sometimes. But it's an inexpensive option compared to some of the more expensive papers. I'll draw some lines here just in case there's some shading or something that we can see. Okay, let's take a look at that. It needs a little more time to dry, but it does show some shading, quite a bit of shading compared to the copy paper. And around the edges here, there is a tiny bit of sheen. So this does show a little bit more of the properties of the ink, which is nice. And it doesn't have any of that feathering, which is also really nice. So this would be a really good paper for that ink. And now this is Tomoe River paper. This is definitely a little more costly, but the ink shows up so nice on this paper usually. All the different properties of the ink will usually be visible. So let's see what we get. This is Tomoe River. There we go. We'll draw some lines. And you could definitely see that the shading on this paper is even better than it was on the HP32. But there's definitely some sheen. And I'm going to clean this off a little bit better. It looks like the ink is still on there. There we go. That's better. All right. Let's see. Oops. Okay, so this ink needs to dry a little bit more where it pooled. But so far you can see on the copy paper, it's a nice blue. There is some feathering, but the shade of blue is very pretty. It's like a deep, like maybe a royal blue or a navy blue or something. But over here, the ink is even darker, and you get that beautiful red sheen on the edges. I'm hoping the camera picks that up. It's like a shiny red edging. And you can see it a little bit here in the writing where the ink gets laid down heavier. And then, of course, you got the blue, and then where the shading is lighter, you see this lighter shade of blue. So you're seeing a lot more of the variation in the colors on the HP32. And then here is a Tomo River. It does still need a few seconds to dry here where I pooled the ink. But you can see here the red sheen really is showing nicely. I'm hoping the camera picks this up. And here in the writing, it's very obvious with nearly every letter. You're seeing it go from light blue to dark blue to red. So the Tomo River paper is really showing off the properties of this ink so much nicer. Even in just the writing, it looks like, you compare these two, it does show up a little bit in the HP32. So if you can't get the Tomo River paper, this ink will still look nice and show some of its properties here on the HP32. But then on the Tomo River paper, you can see how dramatic the difference is, how the sheen is really pooling up here compared to here where it's just a little on the edges. And then if we look at the swatch is still damp in the corner, but this is showing the properties that I wanted you to see. So you see this beautiful blue peeking out here, and then the red sheen that shows all around in these ribbony areas and down here where the ink has pooled. I'll go ahead and set this under a fan so we can look at it dry. I'll be right back. All right, so this is dried, and now you can see just the beautiful sheen that it has. It almost looks like a purpley red because of that red sheen on there. And again, I hope the camera picks this up. And even down here in the writing, you can see it. So this is a beautiful color. If you like the blue inks with red sheen, this is a really nice one. And here it is on that Tomo River. Now that that's dry, you can see that. So this is a beautiful ink. I will find a link for that and leave it down below for you. And if you did enjoy this and you want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can see more. And thank you so much for watching. You have a great day.